Hey guys, it's Lisa back with another video for you for Lisa Wise Designs, and we're going to continue today on our scenic route project. We're going to keep matting on our little wallet style album here. I hope you're enjoying this project. I really love this paper and I love to travel when I can, so this project has a special place in my heart. So we haven't gotten to the box yet, but there's the box. Put that out of the way. So this was the final version. So we've got this done in the previous video. So we're going to be working in the middle piece here. But I just thought I would show you where we're going with the project. So we're going to do this first and then this one. And as it opens up, we will put photos in the next version so you can see it both ways, with representations of these little index cards here where your photos would go, and then you'll get to see one where I put my photos. Love this. And see how this goes with this so well? Just love that. Plenty of places for photos here. I'm gonna be putting about 31, I think, when I counted photos, just in the wallet piece alone. That includes what's going in here. So about 31 photos, so about 30 if you wanted to round, is what you can expect to get in the wallet piece. And then of course there's a couple other pieces, and then there's the box piece to add more to it. So we go top, bottom, sides. All right, so let's get started. If you decide you want to pick up the kit, I have a handful of this theme left, the scenic route theme. Go to the description box below this video in the detailed description, and you can follow that link over to my Etsy shop and either pick up the supplies to make it, so I'll send a physical kit to your home, or you can use your own supplies and just buy the PDF version, which is the tutorial only. It's very affordable. It's way less than $10. I think it might be $5.99, $6.99, something like that. You think I would know my own product pricing, huh? Excuse my dirty desk. I have cleaned it and cleaned it. It is just stained with ink. I need to get a black one again. I went to this lighter version because I use so much black cardstock. I thought it would show up better, but all it tends to do now is just look dirty. Dirty, dirty. So I thought I would mention too, I put my world stone in here. I don't know if anyone's ever noticed, because no one's ever made the comment except for May, that they notice that these stones come out. So every video I have a different stone in here. Let me hold it way up to the camera so you can see it's a globe if you look at it really closely. Anyway, so I thought that was appropriate for today's video. So let's get started here on this B flat. If you're following along in your cutting guide, I'm in the middle of page 17. So we're matting piece B2. So if you were a good little crafter and you matted each one of yours like I said to, this will be B2. So let's see what we've got to have to get started. All right, so here's the papers we're going to be using. All of these are leftovers from other cuts. So here's what the back of this one looks like. It's those 4x4 cut aparts. We've been cutting this plaid. I'm going to continue to cut off the top so that I'm just using up, one top section here, not cutting into any other ones. This is what we matted the back of the wallet with. This is the leftovers here, so we're going to be using some of that. And this is also some of the leftovers where we matted the front of the wallet. It was this side we used. We'll be using this side. All right, let me grab my trimmer. Like I said last video, I'm very excited. I have a new blade. It is like a whole different ball game. Now I just need to actually clean it and get me one of those little air, compressed air things. And it would just be brand new. So we're going to need a 4x6 horizontal photo. That'll come later. We're going to need a 5/8 by 4 inch striped piece of pattern paper. All right. So let's start with that. Like I said, I'm going to be cutting off the top, so the piece away from that branding strip. And I need 5/8 of an inch. So 4/8 of an inch is 1/2 of an inch, the same thing. So 5/8 of an inch is between 1/2 and 3/4. So you're going to go between 1/2 and 3/4, right in the middle there, and make a cut. I know I'm being very persnickety about it. You don't have to be, but I like my mats to look just so. And I'm going to have to turn my paper to cut on this side. On the right side, it's just a little easier. So a little more than 1/2 of an inch, a little less than an inch A little less than 3/4 of an inch. I'm gonna get it in a minute. It's still morning time. I'm like, what's happening? Okay, so put this away. All right, so like I said, I'm on the middle of 17. So that was my 5/8 of an inch, and now I need it to be 4 inches tall. So there's my piece. I'll move that over to my scraps. So then I need that travel pattern paper. So this right here, I need it to go in this orientation for sure. 1.5. So cutting off the top, 1.5. Let me double check. Yes, 1.5, because I want the orientation to be correct. Put this now in my scraps. Okay, and this is 6 3/4 wide. So I'm gonna open this up. 6 3/4. All right, so now we're good on that. And then let's go ahead and cut this other piece of paper here, this one. So I'm at the bottom of 17. And then we need to see what orientation. Do we want to, then you need to see, do I want to look at like this or like this, or does it even matter? But it needs to be 2 5/8 by 5.5. It's going to be in this position, yeah. I think that looks okay, especially if I do it down this way. 2 5/8 on this side. So once again, 2 5/8, so it would be a little bigger than 2.5. And then 5.5 inches long. 5.5 here. So now I have to decide, do I want this piece or this piece? I think I like this piece better. So 5.5 off the top. Okay, so now let's do some matting. Doesn't look like a whole lot, right? These little bitty pieces. I'll load up my distress ink here a little bit. Go ahead and ink this. I'm using a Vintage Photo distress ink in this whole project. You'll have to tell me in the comments what you would like to see for the next project. This is going to be the last kit that I plan to have this calendar year. So I'm going to take a little break from kits. Enjoy the holidays. Can you believe it's already October? Oh my goodness. I've been traveling a lot for work, which is unusual for me. We had some turnover, some retirement, and then I've been teaching in person, and I'm just ready for a little bit of a break. I think we all are, and I'm so looking forward to the holidays. So if you're looking for a project for next year, first of next year, just kind of let me know. All right, so there's those pieces. Let's grab our album, open it up here. So we're starting here on this first flap on the left, which is B2 actually. And then we're going to need either a 4x6 photo, or you can use an index card if you're trying to hold that in place. So this is going to go near the top, so I want to make sure that I round this top corner. I'm using that We Are Memory Keepers, this photo chomper here, or corner chomper. So this is going to go here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my book over where it's flat and make it a little bit easier on myself. Just real easy and gently here. There we go. It's a little bit easier to see and deal with. So don't be afraid to do that. Just don't manhandle it too much, right? Your book. Here, then this little paper goes here. So then I need to corner around the bottom right corner of this one. Look at all these things falling out. I guess I need to actually clean it out since I use it so much. All right, like there, here. And then I'm not even using this. Wasn't this like the leftover piece? And look at me. I inked it. Oh, that's hilarious. And this piece here, it's gonna go like this. Cute. And then we will put a piece of ephemera in between everything, kind of pull it all together there. So I'm going to start with my photo. Like I said, you could start with a 4x6 index card or cardstock if you're wanting to give it as a gift. If you're doing that, just put glue in the teeny tiny corners, like just a tap, just a little bitty tap of glue, or even better, use repositionable glue when you're giving it. And so this C should then kind of line up top and bottom with your photo, you know, in the real world, if it's perfect. And then this should go here. So I think my photo is not quite 4 inches. It's not quite lining up with this piece of paper. Or I just don't know how to trim. One or the other. But I'm going to take a look at this again. But I'm going to trim off just a smidge. That looks better. Talk about persnickety, huh? I love that word. Have you noticed? I got that word in high school from my best friend in high school's mother. Used to say it, Miss Virginia. I don't know that I'd ever heard it before that. It's so funny to me. So I picked that up and I have used it ever since. We also say, you know, heavens to Betsy, but she would say heavens to Betty. So I've said that ever since too. My sister asked me not too long ago, she goes, you do know that that's not the right say? And I was like, yeah, I know. It's just more fun. I don't care if it's right or wrong. Heavens to Betty. Let's look through our ephemera pieces here. Oh, this time I didn't have to look so long. Let's see, I'm going to be using this one with this piece. And then this one with this piece. Okay, so this one says, let's travel and make memories together. That's perfect. Now, if you're not ready to put your photo down quite yet, what you want to do is just put glue on the bottom, like 1/2 inch, and glue that into place so you can still get your photo under there. And I will show you that in the original version. Here, right here, here. So that if you're giving it away, so see, this is a flap, you can still get your photo here. So like I did, I put these down with just taps of glue. See, where you can just rip this off easily. Yeah, very easy. And then put a photo here. And so this is not in the way. Okay, but since I'm putting my photo down, I am going to go ahead and glue this down. Oh, look, it's going to cover up the I in I Love Philly. Maybe I should put it here, or maybe I should choose something different on mine. Or just move it down here. I liked it there, but I don't like, it's just not going to make sense if it covers up the I. Fine then. Here I am changing it. Okay, that's the same thing, so that's not going to work. I know I didn't use these flags. That's cute. And then I could get a little sticker. Let's see what that would look like. Here we go. Pack your bags. I don't remember. Oh, I don't think I used this in Are We There? That's so cute. And it brings out that blue. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. So once again, don't be afraid to mix things up. Whatever works for you and works for your photos. It does not hurt my feelings at all in class online or when I see pictures online. Wait a minute. Class in person or when I see pictures online of people making my projects and they chose different pattern paper, you know, different embellishments. I want to give you encouragement and I want to give you examples, but I want you to make it your own for sure. So that does not bother me. I have people come up to me all the time in class and say, I'm sorry, but I chose this. I'm like, no, it's awesome. I want you to enjoy it and pick something new. And that makes you feel creative. Very good. All right. Easy. Flip this back around. Love how it looks with photos in it. I'm so excited. It is my very favorite craft is to do memory keeping. I have made cards, and I do some stamping, and I do some coloring, and I do some, I'm learning to plan, which I think that's fun. Like the decorative planning, I've always been a planner, but the decorative planning, that has been a lot of fun. Like that, like this. So, sorry, so we're gonna go over to this other B flap. Okay, so I'm trying to get it back in order here. So this one here on the right side, and I am at the bottom of page 17. So I'm gonna open it, yeah, like this. Anyway, I'm doing some decorative planning. If you're interested in seeing any videos on that, let me know. I've done some really cute scrapbooking in my planner. This is what I was going to use here. And I know this photo, when it printed, was not quite 6 inches tall. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut about a quarter of an inch strip of some leftovers to cover that up. This is black. I'm going to be using this blue coming up in a minute, so I might as well go ahead and do that. Yeah, so if you're interested in seeing anything like that, let me know. I think it's a lot of fun. I'll give you a little sneak peek or example of what I'm talking about, because I didn't even know this existed. I do know that I have been, hand making scrapbooks. Yeah, that's good enough. For years, I did the, like most people who got into this, I did the 12 by 12s for many years. I'm just gonna cut this at 4 inches. And then I started making my own mini albums in these type of folios. I followed other people's tutorials for years until I realized I wanted to make some of my own, and then other people started enjoying them, so I decided to turn it into a small business. It's kind of where this got started. I started teaching for May. That kind of gave me an audience of people who started watching, and then that will be cute either here. I think, yeah, I'll put it on the bottom like it's grounding it. Okay, let's do that. So, sorry to get off track, but this is what I'm talking about, like a planner that has the rings on it that you can take out. But I decided to turn mine into like a little memory keeper, like pictures from every week of this year, what I was doing for that week. Most of them will either be pictures at home, or or the new grandbaby, or even just journaling about where I want to be that week, or some things that happen. So anyway, this has been a lot of fun. I don't know if anybody is interested in videos like this, but it was a lot, but I have enjoyed it. Look, isn't that cute? Isn't she adorable? This was Latte's birthday week, so I did one on her. Anyway, sorry, I got off track. Someone's gonna say, what are you doing? What is happening over there? I just can't help it. I love anything to do with a paper and memory keeping, because I get my feelings hurt really easy about when people throw away cards, even though you're not supposed to. So I had quit making a lot of cards because I would spend hours and hours, and they would go in people's garbage. And maybe I shouldn't be saying this on YouTube, but I just didn't enjoy that. I really wanted something, if I was going to put lots of work into, that's going to last. So that's one reason I think I love to memory keep. Because even my nephew, who's in this photo here, if he inherited these years from now, if his picture's in here, I don't think he's going to throw it away, right? He's going to enjoy it. Like this. Just like so. And then that helps to like cover this piece where it wasn't quite long enough, even though I didn't corner round it. I think it still looks okay there. And then we will put this Adventurous Calling. See, once again, it's going to cover my sister's face. Or Jack. I should just do that. That would be funny. But there's this big empty space right here of just the escalator nothing. So that might be fun there. But I really want something here that's going to kind of pull this together. So let me go back to the drawing board. You know, I didn't use this one last time, but this might be perfect on this page because I could run it right up the side. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do that. Because her face is kind of cut off anyway, so I could just butt it up to her face. There we go. I like that idea. So easy does it. Flipping it all back over. And I'll bring it up and let you see. That turned out great. So this is us coming up out of the train station. Look at Jackson. He's such a jerk. Sticking his tongue out. I got a couple photos like that. So I got him in one photo. I did it with him and he didn't like it, I don't think. So he kind of quit doing it after that. All right, so top of page 18. Now we're going to come back to the back of B. For some reason I skipped around in this and I decided to do the C pieces next. So we're going to do these and we're going to use 4 vertical photos and then 4 strips on the side. So let's go ahead and cut our strips. We'll cut all those at one time. And that'll make life a little easier too. So we're going to be using, which paper? I'm going to be using this plaid paper. And then we're going to need that blue, this suitcase paper on the back, this blue. All right, so we'll start with this. We're making sure I'm cutting off the top. All right, so we need, with the stripe pattern on the top of page 18, we need 1/2 inch. So, all right. I should have known better. Put it in this way and cut on the right side because we need 1/2 inch. Okay. I'm going to cut this down into 5.5 inch pieces. So 2 5.5 inch pieces. Then we're going to do the same thing with this blue paper here. Just going to cut off the top. Ugh, look at me. I don't learn quickly. Cutting on the right side, 1/2 inch. I don't learn quickly. I don't know how good a student I would be now in a class. Mamie was telling a story at the Craft Acropolis, how when we went on a cruise where we were teaching, we also took some classes of how to paint, and we all promised each other we were going to be very good students, and we were going to keep up with the class, and we were not going to talk but amongst ourselves. And that class was a disaster because we had no teaching. It was either the teacher was sick and didn't show up and they just sent like a flunky, or I don't know, or it was just a money-making scheme because it was a terrible class. But we had a ball. I left that painting that I made on that cruise. I didn't even take it home. Tamitha said that she had left hers in the back of her closet, like I think turned around to the back. It was so bad that Brenda, who's like a professional artist, couldn't even save mine. She tried to paint over pieces of it and save it. But she was very gracious, very kind to me because I know it was bad, bad. So the example was like, here's the painting on the canvas in the front of the room. And the man came out and he says, okay, paint a vase. Paint the vase, but in his accent. Okay, how do we paint a vase? How do we do that? Yeah, we got no instructions. So it was very comical now, but it definitely was like flush your money down the toilet type thing. But anyway, you live and learn, and we have a great story out of it. All right, so now back open to these 2 C pieces on the inside. So we are back at the top of page 18. So these that are folded into place, we're going to be using these plaid pieces here near the fold, and then you need 2 vertical photos that are 4 by 5.5. They can't quite be 6 inches because of the way this is built. So let me grab the photos I'm going to use as I knock them off. Okay, so I know I wanted this one here, and then I think it's this one that I wanted here. I just knocked them in the floor, which is not very helpful, so excuse me, I'm so sorry. Let me look at my photos, because I kind of had it laid out. And you know how persnickety I can be. So, once I open it up, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, so I did, this is what I meant. So I just gotta trim them down. Ugh, I hate having to use the trim at the top, to 5.5. So I said this before too, Shannon pointed out to me that I cut bottom and then I cut top, but I'm very comfortable cutting at the bottom, but this only goes to like 4 3/4. So then I have to cut at the top. So like I said, I don't learn quickly. I should do all my cutting at the top, but I don't. So I'm just trimming these down to 4.5. So they're gonna go here, but my strips are going here, so I'm gonna make sure that I go ahead and corner around. So this one's going on the right side, so I need to corner around the left. And then this one's going on the left side, so I need to corner around the right ones. Okay, so then it's gonna lay out like so here. And this pretty plaid, just like that. So I'm gonna try to do it with the book open, because that will make my life a little easier without having to flip it around. But I'm going to grab an acrylic block that's going to kind of hold this down, hopefully, out of my way. Yeah, that's a little better. All right, so I'm going to start with the photo, since it's going to be on the cut edge, because it's going to show a little more if you don't, it's going to show up a little more if you don't get this one exact than this piece here. Like if you put this piece on and then this on the extreme outside is off, it'll, to me, it'll show up a little more. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I don't understand what I'm even saying. You know, you ever been there? It's like, I know what I'm trying to communicate, but I can't quite get it out. I've been doing a lot of teaching lately at work and in person, and I think I just must be out of words. It's like I've used all the words. All the words have been used in the past few 2 or 3 months, so they just kind of escape me. That's cute. It's very cute. I don't think I even put any embellishments on it yet. So we're just going to do this for now. We'll come back, like I said, at the end, and we'll add our final embellishment. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. I'm going to be working on this C piece here. So love this at the Philadelphia, some type of museum. I should have looked it up. This is, you know, where Rocky ran up the stairs in the Rocky movies. Sylvester Stallone, I guess, actually ran up the stairs. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. His character was Rocky, and so the kids and then my brother-in-law Scott ran up the stairs and did the photo. So the rest of us kind of sat around on the museum steps and ate ice cream. You know, that's a good day. There's a big line the whole time we were there in front of the statue to take pictures, and people were, you know, were pretty nice about it, and they would stand in line and they would wait. But we waited probably a good 30 minutes in line for the kids to get these pictures. But it was worth it. I have tons of them. Of course, I can't put them all in here. There's tons of these, of all the different kids. So I thought this one was a good representation of Scott and Jack going at it here. All right, and then I'll put another one on this side when we get to that at the top of the steps at the museum. But I'm going to kind of go in order of what I did in the cutting guide. Imagine that, right? So we just did the top of 18. So then it says to open these up here, I think. Yeah, with the flaps open, and do 2 more vertical photos here, and then with these little blue tabs once again here and here, here and here, not so much here. I don't know what kind of movie that came from. I cannot remember. So I think it's this one and this one. I think I tried to put my photos in order. Not that it really matters, but you know, kind of had a flow going. So I'm gonna take. Oh, here's Gracie in those black shoes. So now I can know that was her in the other photo. Make sure I'm at 5.5. And trim a little bit off the top. So now that's a true 5.5. Same thing here. I love this photo. This is like the first street of the first neighborhood of Philadelphia. See, I should have been paying more attention, but it's been 2 years. So give myself a little bit of grace. But I'm going to go back and look all that up and do some journaling off camera so that I can remember. So this goes here and here. So this, of course, is in Amish country. This is in downtown Philadelphia. Match up my corners and corner round. Same thing here. Yeah, we did a lot to get this picture because it's like a one-way street and it's still a real neighborhood where real people live. And we were in this huge rental car. I mean, it was a big old SUV. I don't know what it was, but it had like 3 rows of seats and it had a lot of room for luggage. You'll see a picture of the back of it that I'm going to put in here at some point. It was where matting. It was a huge vehicle. And my sister drove that bad boy all the way from Birmingham, Alabama, around about there, all the way to Philadelphia. And then we took the train into New York City. We parked it and took the train because the kids have never been on a train because, of course, we're from Podunk, Alabama. And never been on the subway, anything like that. Well, I take that back. Some of them had in Washington, D.C. Maybe all of us had in D.C. taking the subway. Anyway, I digress. So we took the train in, and then we, of course, took the train, or the bus back, because we were cheap. So we took the bus back to Philadelphia, and then she drove that thing home. But when we're going through this little neighborhood, it was unbelievably tiny, and we were in this big vehicle, and we had to back up at some point. And yeah, we scraped it a little bit. I don't think they ever got charged for it because we kind of buffed it out, but yeah, it was kind of funny. Kind of funny. The kids thought that was hysterical. So, oh goody, a potential spam call. Don't y'all love those? Let me send that person straight to voicemail. I'm getting more and more of them lately. I've got where I answer the phone and tell them, please take me off your calling list. Who knows if that actually works? Sorry, getting me a little shot of caffeine there. Isn't this cute? This is coming along so cute. I love it. I love it. I'm sorry for gushing, but I'm having such a good time. All right, so now still on page 18 where it talks about matting these flaps. So for here, this flap here, we're going to use one of these 4x6 cut aparts that we did in the last video. We had already cut this one apart. And I wanted this one to be here because we did go on a road trip and it does kind of match the top here. So I thought that would be perfect, but I'm going to need to corner around the bottom 2 corners. Again, if you need more photo space, just put photos here, which I do need more photo space, but I just was brutal. I went through those 600 pictures and I just was like, okay, if we went to the Statue of Liberty in New York, I can only have like 1 photo because we went to so many places. I just made sure everybody was represented at some point in the album, but not everybody was represented in all the places that we went, if that makes sense. If I made a huge album, yes, I could put a lot more photos in. But I'm satisfied with this. This gives me a good taste or a good flavor where we can sit down probably at Thanksgiving and go through and let the kids look and enjoy, relive the trip. But you know, that always sparks so many different stories, which I think is so much fun. Then the instructions say to go through on these D1 through D3 flaps and put down photos. So here's D1, D2, and D3. So just use horizontal photos and mat this. That was the only one that I used a cut apart for. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 photos. So I have mine, and I think on these you can use true 4x6 photos, which you can. That way you don't even have to crop these down, which is so helpful. So helpful when you're going through this. So much fun, especially if you're giving it to someone as a gift. Then they can just plop their photos down. This one goes here. I love this picture. Amish country, it's beautiful. Unfortunately, the day that we went was a Sunday, so of course there was nothing open. I mean, nothing. There wasn't even people on the street on Sunday. So we got a couple of beautiful photos, but we did not get to stop in really anywhere except the visitor center, which, you know, that's how it goes. Then we found this really cool covered bridge. We found a couple of them, but this one was gorgeous. So once again, I took a ton of photos at this covered bridge, but I had to be brutal in picking which photos I was going to use. So I chose one of my favorites, and this is the one of my sister and her family to use as a representation of that. It's really pretty. It was really cool. We walked all the way through it, all around it, went down to the water. The kids played like a little Romeo and Juliet type thing because of the balcony piece of it. It was so cute. No regrets. No regrets on spending the money and the time doing things like this with my family. Great stories come out of it. All right. So then I wanted to do like the U.S. Mint here. We could not take pictures for obvious reasons inside the mint, so we took one on the outside. And, oh, I haven't showed you my little bag of ephemera. Do you call it ephemera? What you bring back? Anyway, all my little tchotchkes that I picked up along the way. I'm going to put that in the box. That was one of the reasons I really wanted to make or use these boxes, because any type of maps that you pick up, or we picked up a lot of coins this time around, and then they can just fit in the box where they're difficult to work into an album. So I will show you that too as we're going through. And then here's a photo in front of the museum, like if we're standing on the museum steps looking out into Philadelphia. That was a really good shot. I'm sure my brother-in-law took it. He takes, when we go on vacation, you don't have to worry about pictures now. He takes some pictures of everything, and some good pictures. But he also tends to get lost because he walks away to take photos, and then we lose him. So when we went to Italy 3 years ago, we literally started saying Marco Polo when we couldn't find him. So we were walking in the streets in front of Mount Vesuvius in, you know, the old city of Pompeii. You know, that's very famous in history. Anyway, and he would walk through these little side streets and taking all these great pictures, but we would lose him, and our tour group would like walk away from us, and we literally would say Marco and wait for him to say Polo for us to find. And anyway, I digress. More stories. When we went into the city of Venice and was doing we had a private tour, and that tour guide says, yes, we know you Americans play this game called Marco Polo, and she just kind of made fun of us. Anyway, I got a big kick out of it. All right, so I am on flap D3, folding this down. So I love this picture of me and my sissy on the train, and there's Grace in the back of us here. This was a lot of fun, letting the kids do lots of new adventures. And of course, some of it was new for us too. But my sister and I both are, I would say, pretty well traveled. We haven't been everywhere, but we've been in a few places where we can talk intellectually about, especially lots of cities in the United States. So we just got a kick out of the kids' first train ride, because it's not something that we do very often, because we don't have this here in the South. You know, we drive everywhere. We don't walk a lot of places, and we don't have a lot of public transportation because we're in such a rural area. So that's kind of neat. Definitely people are looking at us like tourists. You're taking pictures on the the passenger train here. All right, so we have gotten through this step. So now we're at the bottom of page 18, where we're going to mat the G pocket. So we're going to mat this place, this area here. So let me fold this down. Okay, move all this out of the way. So we're going to need this piece we've been cutting off of. We're going to need this. No, we don't. Don't mind, Lisa. This piece, this blue piece that's on the back of the suitcases. We need that one, and then we need the one that has the globes, which I think this is adorable. So here's the two we're going to be using. All right, so starting with this blue pattern paper, we need a strip off the top that is 2.5 inches. So the blue, I'm just double checking, 2.5 by 8 1/8. I'm gonna turn it. I'm going to go 8 and go up a little bit, not quite 8 1/4, so 8 1/8. So there's my blue piece, right? And then what is next? The globe paper. So once again, I'm cutting off the top here. Globe pattern paper is 3 1/4. 3 1/4. Right, and then by 8. I know y'all don't like to cut in 1/8 of an inch, and you don't have to. You can round down. It's kind of hard to round up, but you can round down, and then you're just gonna have a little more of a border. And I kind of like my borders to be uniform, about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So when it comes to making some of these albums, sometimes I have to cut in 1/8 of an inch to make that work. Sometimes I do think that the Europeans have a leg up on us by using the metric system, where they got the centimeters, so it makes it much easier to cut than trying to figure out 1/8 and 1/4 and all that good stuff. But, you know, us Americans, it doesn't matter if we're the last people in the world, we are holding on to that imperial system. No one's going to tell us what to do. All right. All right, back over here. Yeah, I folded it backwards. That's okay. So now we're going to have trash, obviously. So now we're going to have the globes here, and then this blue piece goes down in the pocket. So make sure you can kind of get that in there. So you need to do a dry run here, and then pull it back up about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom score line. There's 2 score lines. This one's a little higher than this one. So just keep that in mind. Make sure it fits in your pocket. It's not going to be exact. You're going to have some gaps here, but it's fine. No one's ever going to notice it. So you can just go ahead and pick it up and put glue here, or take it out and put glue. And I feel pretty confident I can get it back in there before it dries. So I'm going to do it this way. Like I've said before, sometimes it's more important to get it on straight than to have glue coverage everywhere, and sometimes it's not. Just depends on the situation. So get that in there quickly, and then pull it back up to about 1/8 of an inch from that bottom score line, which is the picture on the right. All right, and then burnish it really good, get that to dry. Awesome. All right, what's happening here? I got a little issue right there. There we go. And then this, isn't that globe pretty? And then you see how now this kind of pulls all that together like a frame. That is so neat. I don't talk nearly about it on enough about it on these videos, probably how I choose my pattern paper, as I do in in-person classes. But I'll try to give you some tips along the way how I do that. Next time I'm doing a bunch of cutting or inking and have a big time to chat here. All right, so now we have that done. So now we're going to go into the back pieces here, and then we'll come back and do the insert. So once again, I fold the top, then the bottom, then the sides. So now I've got my B pieces showing again on the backs here. So now we're at the top of page 19. So we're going to have to do a little cutting here. So we're going to need this blue pattern paper, which I think it's this one. I think it's this leftover. Let me look at my original one. Yeah, it's like this leftovers here. That's what was on the back. This, you know, this paper. Yeah, but on the back. So that blue, and then that cut apart that we did earlier. We're gonna need this one, and we're gonna need the back of the other one next to it. So just grab both of those. Is that it? Maybe, we'll see. Come back to it. I'm just gonna move this off to the side where I can trim. Does anybody ever cut directly on top of their project? I do that sometimes, but I know probably not a great idea sometimes, especially when you've already got photos there, put dents in it. All right, so I'm just gonna cut this apart right now, right in half, and keep this one, flip it over. So this has now got to be, it's 4, but it's gotta be 5.5 inches. So I'm gonna cut a smidge off the top, right where her bud is, like that, because I don't want to like cut her hair off if I don't have to. And then turn it around and then make it here 5.5. So whatever I get at this point. So now I'm going to cut a little bit of the suitcase wheel and maybe some of her shoe off, but that's okay. Okay, so there's that one. Put you right there. Then this blue paper, 2 3/4 by 5.5. So it's definitely got to be 5.5 in this direction. And then 2 3/4 here. So then that goes together. And then your 3 by 5 vertical photo. So here's the photo that I want to use. So see this big old vehicle we had? And they're in the 3rd seat. So they're in the 3rd seat. Then here's either mine or Brigitta's head in the middle seat. And then there's Scott's head in the front seat. This was a big vehicle. Can you see which piece of luggage is mine? The one that sticks out with the flower print. I travel a lot, like I say, for work. And so when it comes off the carousel thing in the plane, I can definitely find mine. Okay, so what did I say? 5.5. 3 by 5.5. So let's go 5.5 first. That'll be the easy part. And cut off some of the top of the vehicle. All right. So 3 inches, or about 3 inches. Let's see. Let's just take a half it off the side, but I don't want to. I'll take a 1/4 inch off the side, each side. And when I get to it, I'll see then if it's good enough. I may have to trim it down some more. So the other piece of paper, we have this one, and we need to trim it up to 4, which I think it should already be 4, yeah, by 5.5. So I'm going to trim some of this off to 5.5. Okay, so there's that piece. And then I need this little bitty piece of blue. Let's see, that would be 5.5 by 1 1/4. So where's my leftovers? Here was leftovers of that blue piece. So is it tall enough? Yeah, at least it's 5.5 because you cut the other one 5.5. So then I just need 1/4 of an inch of that. And that's it. I think I said I was on the top of page 19. If I didn't, I will. Here. So the way I go about when I am designing is you've got usually about 12 pieces of pattern paper, and a lot of times it's double-sided. So you really sometimes have 24 pieces. It can be overwhelming which pieces to pick that go well together when you're matting. So I like to pick 2 or 3 pieces, max 3, that go really well together, and then I mat them, and then I usually cut those 2 pieces up to death till I'm just down to a few scraps, and then I go on to the next few pieces that go together, because like I say, it can be very overwhelming trying to look at all of it at one time and figure out what to do. And then I kind of look at the flow of my album and kind of make a transition from one page to the next, or one side to the next, or top and bottom. So, you know, just depending on what I'm working on at the time. As I was talking about here, like this transition here. See how this blue goes well together and helps frame that out. There's blue peeking out here that kind of pulls that out. Anyway, I don't know if that helps somebody, but I thought that I would mention it. Okay, so for here, back again at the top of page 19, I had this lady here. This blue piece is kind of butted up right there, like butted up right against each other. So let me go ahead and corner around these edges. Okay. Like so. And then this photo needs to go here. Oh yeah. You're going to have to do a better job. You're going to have to cut that one down for sure. So then this one goes on this side. And then the photo kind of butts up against it. And then this goes here. I cut a 1/2 of an inch instead of a 1/4 of an inch. Why didn't someone tell me that? I can now look at that and say, that is definitely not a 1/4 of an inch. That is a 1/2 of an inch all day long. So I'm just going to kind of cut that in half. Doesn't have to be exact, but you just want a little sliver piece to kind of bridge the gap between these two pieces we're putting together. I know someone was watching that video going, And then I wanted to put Allie here. See how this kind of coordinates here together with the Rocky pictures. All right, so going to have to do some more trimming on this one. I definitely could trim this top piece up. We don't need all the car. We can tell what that is. Make this a little smaller, and then take this down a little here, a little more here. And then if I corner around it, and just kind of do a little dry run, see what it looks like, see if it's still too big. Okay, that's much better. I like that much better. Isn't that really, well, I'm almost out of frame, but isn't that really cute? It looks really cute together. See how she's got her little suitcase, and here's all our suitcases. And then on this side, we've got Allie here standing there in front of the Rocky, whatever that museum is. And then the guys here. Okay. So let me trim down Allie. It says it needed to be 2 3/4 by 5 1/2. So let me start with 5 1/2. All right, don't want to trim off where it says Rocky. So I'll do that, then I'll have to turn it around and get to 5 1/2. There we go. That's good. Then it says 2 3/4. So I have to cut a whole bunch of this off, but that's okay. I'm going to start cutting mostly on the right. And then if I turn it over 2 3/4, I think I'm good. So cute. She's such a pretty girl. She's literally a beauty queen in our town. She is Miss Swedish Fest. Is that what you call her? I don't know. But she won the Swedish Fest. And she's so beautiful, but so down to earth. Such a cute girl. I think she's a senior this year. Anyway. Oh no. Listen to me. I just went to her graduation party this summer, so she's in college. Duh. I'm sorry if anyone's ever watching this video later. They're like, yeah, you were there. I should remember because it was like one of the very first outings I went on for like over a year. And even though it was outside, it was still around people. Alright, so she's here. That looks so cute. And this here. So my mother, okay. I can't glue and talk at the same time. So my sister, who was older than me, I only have one sibling, she is the godmother to Allie and Allie's sister. So that's their connection there. They're like best friends with the parents. So they have grown up together. So Dawn's 2 children and Brigitta's 2 children have grown up together playing, even though they didn't go to the same schools. They went to the same church for a long time and got together through the years. So this was nice to have at least one of Brigitta's kids with us on our trip. So the kids had somebody, I say new, to talk to. Someone that's not their sibling, right, that they see all the time. So that really helped, I think. And then that really helped me, too, to have someone to share a hotel room with. Here. Cool beans. Yes. I hope this is not the last trip we all take together. I have great, great memories. Love that. Isn't that cute? I'm loving it. I love this even better with photos in it, I must say. So that is the end of matting this piece. We've just got to make the insert. So I know I've been going almost an hour, but let's go ahead and make the insert. It won't take too long, and that way when we come back, we'll start on some of the other projects that go in the box. So let's do that. Sorry if I have been too chit-chatty, but I have really been enjoying this. Look how cute it's getting. See, it's still not too fat. So it looks awesome. Oh, here's the rest of us. This is what we did while they climbed the Rocky statue, or the went up there where the Rocky statue is, climbed the stairs. I kind of wanted to see if I could work this photo in, but we'll do that in a second. So in your kit, you have this mini file folder. So what you want to do is use your trimmer and cut the long straight edges here, here, and the sides, and then use your scissors to cut out the rest. And I actually use my corner chomper to do the corners here and here on 1/2 inch, and I used 1/4 inch here. And so this is what I got when I did that. If you picked up the tutorial only, this is a separate PDF. You get 2 PDFs, the one with all the cutting guide, and this is PDF number 2. So you'll want to print this out on cardstock. Sorry, I had to get a drink. I was dying. So once you cut that out, this is what you get. Now we're going to be on the middle of 19. You're going to look for this piece of paper that has like the legends on it, the north, south, east, west. Let me find it. It looks like this on one side, this on the other. Got your legends here. So I'm just going to make sure that when we fold it, that north is on top, because I don't think I did that last time, and it has made me a teensy bit crazy looking at it later. So let's take out the example. See, I can't even figure this out. Top, bottom, sides. I know how to do it, I just get lazy. Okay. Now see, mine has got north going to the bottom. I don't like that at all, at all. So, yeah, this is how I did it last time, and I do not want that to happen. But if I do it like this, it's going to close like so. And sorry for the technical difficulties. I want this to be right, though. This is the front, like this, but I want it to be north. Yeah, I don't know what I did last time, but this is obviously the way it needs to be. Okay. All right. So I'm using mine where basically the wording is upside down on it. The larger tab is here, the smaller tab is here, and then the north is pointed up. All right. If you're weird like me and want to do that, that's what you want to do. So first of all, we need to cut our paper down. Let's do first things first. So we want it to be 6.5 wide. So 6.5 wide. Let's do that cut first. So we're probably going to have to cut off the branding strip in order to do that, since we're cutting wide first. So 6.5 wide. And I'll put this piece away. And then we need it to be 10 inches tall. scrap. All right. So we're at the bottom of 19. This is 6.5 by 10. We're going to score it now. At 5 inches. So it's 10 inches. Scored at 5. Right. Then we're going to, with north at the top, north is here. We're going to take the small piece is going to go at the top, so my writing's upside down. That might be what the mistake I did last time. It's not really a mistake. I just don't like the way it looks now with north going to the bottom. So this is not going to be perfect, but it's pretty close. You see, you got a tiny bit all the way around, and that is fine. What I'm going to do is butt this up to the top, right here, and then put my paper clips on here. And then just kind of draw around the edges with a pencil. This is so funny. When I went to, when I was teaching at May May's event last week, one of the students was sitting in the crop big area. And she was working on something like this of my project. She had it pulled up on her computer and she had earbuds in. And when I walked by, she says, "Lisa, you didn't tell me I needed paper clips." And I rolled as I was walking by. I was like, okay, that's freaky. And then she laughed. So, since it's not exact, what I did, then I took it off. Then I'm going to butt it up at the top here. I just kind of moved it up a little bit to make sure it butts up. You don't have to, but since it didn't line up exactly, it's easier to do this than to trim it all again. So then I just do the same thing here. All right. And we're good. You can save this for another project if you would like. So now I'm going to take my long scissors and I'm going to cut out what I traced, just real easy. I'm going to get to the curves here, like that. Then these pieces, like I said, I'm going to use my corner rounder. So, yeah, I thought that was really funny. I don't know who was more embarrassed, her or me. I was like, "Well, sweetie, do you need to borrow some paper clips? I have some with me." And she just started laughing. I won't say her name, even though I do know who it is. I'm not going to say her name, just in case. All right, so just burnishing that a little bit. And I'm going to get my corner rounder. And a 1/2 inch. I'm going to do the bigger marks that I had. You could do all of them, but on this other little end, it just had a tiny mark, so I'm just going to do the tiny little piece there. So now I can erase any pencil lines that are left and use my distress ink. And hopefully I did it this time when I thought it out ahead of time that it's going to be north is actually pointed toward the north. Anybody else like that when you make something like this? You're like, oh my gosh, that's going to drive me crazy. Every time I look at it, I'm going to see that. Where I'm sure nobody else would notice it unless they were like, you ever seen that USA TV show called Monk? Yeah, like he would notice for sure. Go ahead and fold it. Add ink on the edges. I'm not quite that bad. But some things would stick out. But you know, if I hadn't been making it and staring at the paper as I was doing this, I probably wouldn't notice it either. Because I'm just going to be glancing at the pictures and the finished product. Alright. Fold it backwards. I'm going to do here my score lines. Like I said, cute. Now I've got my little file folder. Okay, I like this better. North here. we're good. I guess you could flip it over if it doesn't work for you. Maybe that's what I did wrong. Anyway, whatever. Let's go now to the middle of 20. We're going to get a tag. So we have that's not right. Here we go. Sorry, the instruction says mat the black tag, but we don't have a black tag. We have a manila tag that's 2 1/8 by 4. And this one's actually 4 1/4. I think I have to trim it down. So I think I ran out of tags, but anyway, sorry that it says black. It is a manila one, but the picture actually is of manila. And then we're going to use a ephemera piece that says, grab your passport, let's go. I'm going to use my pointy tool and poke out all these little pieces here. I always poke from the front to the back. That way, as I'm picking them off the back, if there was a little bit that hangs and kind of hang on too long, it doesn't want to let go, and it tears a little bit, then it tears the back instead of the front. All right, just like that. Then we're going to use a piece of our brown ribbon here. So we're going to glue this right over this other tag here. So yeah, we definitely need to trim this up to 4 inches. So basically we have to cut off 1/4 inch. There we go, that looks much better. Did you hear my stomach? Was that awful? So I'm lining up the holes. There's not much left here on the bottom since we trimmed it up, but we need to corner around the edges. This time I'm going to use the 1/4 inch because it's such a small area. Yeah, that looks good. Good, good, good. All right, so let's go ahead and glue that into place. Yeah, that was a stomach. That was like really loud. And I did take time to eat breakfast. I don't know. Who knows? Now from here, now I'm going to do the outside tag, ink it, that manila piece. I did not do that. And then take this brown ribbon strip. This was about 8 inches or so. I folded it in half, and then I'm poking, make sure this is run down, poking it through the front, and then taking that loop, pulling the tails through. There you go. This is just my favorite way to do it. And then folding them in half, cutting them at an angle, starting at the bottom right, going to the top left. And then I like to scroosh it a little bit. Someone asked me what I used as my ribbon, and this is seam binding made by Hug Snug. Hug Snug. You can find them on, they have a website, but I actually order from their Etsy shop and get it in smaller quantities there. And then this I put right here, and that kind of gives me a little bit of room here. So let me see. That's not for this. Which photos was I going to use? I don't remember. All right, hold please. Let me go back and look and see photos. I wonder if I even took pictures of that one. Oh, okay, so it's the Hershey thing. Oh yeah. I have a lot of extra photos. So I'll go over that in a second. But these were the ones I was going to use, I think. This one. And then if there was room, do that one. This would be cute to cut out and put it on the front. Okay. So we, of course, since we were in Pennsylvania, we had to go to Hershey's. Since none of us had been there. We did not go into the theme part, but we did go into the, I don't know, is it called the museum part? I'm not sure. Where you can make your own candy bar. You see it going through the little process. It was fun. You get to pick your toppings and you get to design your own wrapper. So if you ever get a chance, that is a lot of fun. So in order to use all of my space, I'm going to kind of trim this down. And like put a photo on the front here. So the good thing about these inserts where you can pull them out is that way you can easily put horizontal or vertical photos in either direction, and the person can manipulate it how they need to outside of the album. Sorry, I'm going over my hour mark that I like to stick to, but it is what it is. And I'm not going to cut a lot of this stuff out. So I'm going to do candy bar, Hershey sign here. So here's the adults. This has got more of the people in it. So I think this represents, yeah, everybody is there. That was really fun doing the Hershey shop. We had to wear hairnets and everything. I got some pictures of those, which is hysterical. And this is not big enough to put my New York pictures in, so I'm going to make another box, which I already have my box made, and the base cut out for my wallet for the New York trip. So hopefully I can get that done quickly, and might share that with you if you're interested. And then on the back here, I'm going to put this is a cute photo of Grace and Allie. So I had so many more pictures I wanted to get in that I made some extra little inserts. So I will share that with you really quick. All right, so put that over here. I just cut, you're not going to have this much extra paper, but if you do have some paper in your stash that you want to use, it can be any color that coordinates. Doesn't have to be this parchment. These are 6 1/4 by 8 1/2. And then I scored it at 4 1/4. So this instructions is not in this. So once again, 6 1/4 by 8 1/2, and then I scored it at 4 1/4. So just to make some very simple little inserts. And that way, I can put more of my pictures from Hershey in here. And then the Hard Rock. So I'm gonna do that. And then put all of this inside, and I will then sneak peek it. I'm sneak peeking it now, and I'll show it to you at the beginning of the next video. And I'm going to try to work this one in somewhere too. So thank you guys for coming along with me on this fun project. Once again, you can pick up the supplies if you'd like to. That link is in the description box below. It goes over to my Etsy shop. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. So consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you guys. Bye.